Okay, welcome, Rabbi Black.
Hello, hi, welcome. Is everybody muted now?
No.
No?
I thought
Not
I muted everyone. Hang on, I'm just going to do it
no,
then again.
everybody.
Okay, I'm muting everybody. Are we all muted?
Well, they should be because I had to unmute myself, so that's
Yes,
good.
that's okay. Okay,
Right.
all yours.
Hi, how are you? How's everybody? I hope everybody's well. Yes? Good. Okay, so the tradition is to actually say, before I get into my little talk, I just want to tell you, the tradition is to say, you should have a kosher freilichem Pesach. That's what you say. You should have a kosher and freilichem, a happy Pesach. That's what we wish people. I normally say to people, you should have a freilichem Pesach. I don't say kosher. Kosher, I know it's going to be kosher. I know you're going to go out to your 10th degree to make sure it's going to be kosher. Freilich, we're going to be so busy, we don't know whether we're going to have time to be happy. So I think it's very important that you say, give the bracha, they should be happy first, and then hopefully the kosher will be there automatically. I hope so. Anyway, that's my first little message. My next thing I want to say, before I begin my little talk today, just want to tell you, the custom is, on Shabbat HaGadol, which is the Shabbos before Pesach, the rabbi normally stands up and explains many of the laws of Pesach, expounding upon many of the intricacies of these laws. Right? Makes sense. There are indeed many different halachot, many different laws about how we are supposed to eradicate the chametz and make sure that we only have Pesach Dika products over Pesach in a home throughout Pesach, and how to achieve that. But also, there are aspects of the Seder that we need to know about. And the Fi Tza'ara Agra, according to the work put into it, is the reward, meaning the more efforts that we put into the preparation for Pesach and the Seder, the more we will get out of it. As it says, you get more chachma bina v'das. You get more of wisdom and understanding and knowledge. You get more things to understand and to understand. So the more you put into it, the more you get out. Today, I just want to speak about the part of the Seder which is called korech. Korech means the wrap, right? It comes before Shulchan Aruch. It comes before the actual food. Well, actually, it is part of the food, but really what you do first is you do motzi matzah, and then you do maror. Motzi matzah, you say hamotzi, and you say alachilat matzah, you eat some matzah, and then you then you eat the maror, the bitter herbs. Then after that you do korach, which is the wrapping. And what is the wrapping? That is the part where you take the third matzah, you make a sandwich together with the maror, the bitter herbs, and the charosis, and we say the following. This is what we say: Zeicher lamikdash Hillel. This is as a remembrance of the mikdash, of the Beit Hamikdash. Keina asa Hillel. This is what Hillel did with bunch of Beit Hamikdash hayakaya. In the time that the Beit Hamikdash was standing, haya korech matzah or maror, he would wrap the matzah and the maror together, biachad, the kayim mashenema, to fulfill that which it says, al matzot umarorim yochelilu. You've got to eat it together with the matzah and the maror. You've got to eat it together. So that's what Hillel did, and that's why we take it together. We take all the two different things together. That's what we do today in our time. So the question is, so what? So what? So this is what Hillel did. Why are we doing this? We've already made a bracha, as I said, on the matzah. We already made a bracha, hamotzi lechem min haaretz and ala chilatz matzah. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz is a bracha that you recite whenever you eat bread, and ala chilatz matzah for the mitzvah of eating the matzah on this night. And then on the maror, on the bitter herbs, you say ala chilatz maror for eating the maror, the bitter herbs. Why now do we now need to take the two together? what are we doing? Why are we doing that? Alternatively, I can ask an entirely different question, which is sort of like an opposite question. Listen to this. Why did we have to recite a separate bracha on the matzah and then on the maror? Why couldn't we have just recited one bracha on the matzah and the maror together and stop wasting so much time? Why do we just have to? We did the matzah, alachilas matzah, then alachilas maror, on the eating the maror, and then after that we eat the matzah maror together. What is the symbolism behind all that? That is my question today, right? So you got the double question there. I hope you have. The Talmud in Pesachim, page 158. Anybody wants to look it up, they can. Actually, it speaks about it. It says, in the beginning, they said that when the temple was still standing, they used to take not just the matzah or maror, but they used to take the Pesach, the Paschal lamb, the matzah, the unleavened bread, and the maror and the bitter herbs, and eat them together. And that will fulfill the Torah command of taking the korban Pesach together with the matzah and maror. As it says, al matzahs u'marorim yochluhu, eat it together with the matzah and the maror. As they did on the very first Egypt in our history. They were instructed, the original Jews, the Bnei Israel, were instructed to do that all those 3,000 years ago. And so therefore we do that today. So we no longer have the temple. We no longer bring the Paschal lamb. So why can't we just take the matzah together with the maror without the Paschal lamb? Why can't we do that in the first instance? So the Talmud answers like this, because today the mitzvah of matzah is min haTorah. Why? Because it says, "Ba'erev tochel matzah." You've got a second command saying, in the evening you should eat matzah. It's not something which is dependent upon the korban Pesach, on bringing the korban Pesach. So there's a separate mitzvah of eating matzah. However, the eating of maror, there is no separate sivoy commandment to eat the maror. It doesn't say that you should eat the maror on the bitter herbs on this night. The eating of the maror is totally dependent on the bringing of the korban Pesach, on the bringing of the Paschal lamb. So therefore, today, when we bring when we eat the maror, the bitter herbs, it's totally rabbinical, right? You got it? So there's a difference between the mitzvah of eating matzah and the eating of maror. Matzah in today, it's not dependent on the korban Pesach, and so therefore it's a standalone mitzvah, and it's a mitzvah that is dependent still today. So therefore we make our alachilas matzah, and we're eating it. It's a min haTorah. It's from the Torah that we're supposed to do it. Whereas when it comes to the maror is something completely different. Maror is rabbinical in nature, and therefore the maror, which is only rabbinical, could come, and now it could come now and mevatel, nullify the taste of the matzah. Got it? Because they are not on the same level. If they were two level mitzvahs on the same level, so the matzah was min haTorah and from the Torah, and maror, bitter herbs, was min haTorah, then you wouldn't have a problem. But since they are not on the same level, matzah in this day and age is min haTorah, and maror, bitter herbs, is midrabanan. So therefore, what you have to do is, what do? We recite a separate bracha on the matzah and you eat it. We recite a bracha on the maror and then we eat it, and then we take it together, and the matzah and the maror, as a remembrance of the Beit HaMikdash. And what do they do in the times of the Beit HaMikdash? They used to take the Pesach, matzah, maror, all three of them together. So this is a very interesting little thing that I've just taught you. But I think, though, there is a much deeper issue here. Matzah, we know, represents how they had to make it with so much haste. So it represents freedom, redemption. Maror represents slavery, the bitter times. Vayamaru es chayechem, and they embittered their lives. We go through life. We need to know that we have both aspects, the ups and downs. Listen to how it is related by the late Rabbi, Dr. Lamented Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamb. This is what he says. I want to just read this little thing which he says over here. He says, most of us, as we attend the Passover Seder, tend to think back to the Sedorim of our youth in the bosom of our family. As a child, beginning as a little boy of 6 or 7, and through my bar mitzvah, my parents and my siblings attended the Seder presided over by my maternal grandfather. Zayda, of blessed memory, was a man short in stature, but great in rabbinic scholarship and in personal warmth. The first part of the Seder was most enjoyable, the chanting, the singing, the expectation of rewards for the younger grandchildren for reciting the 4 questions successfully, and the divrei Torah interspersed by the more knowledgeable participants. The memory I most cherished was that of Zayda, who chanted certain passages of the Haggadah in the melodies of his Hasidic home before the First World War. His face beamed when he had us, his American-born grandchildren, sing along with him. But then, when it came to the Haggadah descriptions of the torments of the Israelite children by the sadistic Egyptian taskmaster, Zayda's mood changed abruptly. He was totally silent. As we continued to read aloud from the Haggadah, he said nothing, but tears streamed down his face and onto his beard. I do not recall if anyone else noticed it, but I did. It took me a few years to begin to understand. He was reciting the suffering of the Israelites, and he wept for them, but also for himself, for he knew that his elderly mother had been shot by the SS when she resisted climbing aboard the cattle car, taking Jews to the death chambers. His tears were shed for her, and for his brothers and sisters and their large families, and for his teachers and his study partners and his students. Zayda's change of mood was his personal illustration of the dual mode of the historic Jewish experience as represented in the Haggadah. Sadness and singing are both part of the Seder of life. This Haggadah, so simple yet so profound, is our emancipation proclamation. This year, we are slaves. Next year, free men and women. Wow. Those are the words of Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamb. I just thought that was very, very powerful. I just thought I'll share that with you. That is the matzah and the maror. That's why we have to eat it together. I thought that's just a thought. I just want to wish everybody.
You're muted.
What? Did I just say that the whole way through and you didn't hear a word?
No, just that last bit.
I just want to wish everybody a very happy and a kosher Pesach. In Mitzvah Hashem, please God.
Thank you very much for that. It was very good. From the first part, I almost thought we weren't going to have the marrow at all. But then
No.
We didn't get away with it.
Of course, I'm going to have the marrow. We have to have the marrow as part of our experience.
No, I know that. Yeah. Okay.
That is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall I start Kabbalah Shabbat?
Yes.
So page 256. If you've got these books over here, I could hold it up if you want. Okay. Yedid nefesh avodach hamam meshoy chavdecha el ritzonecha yarutz avdecha kamo ayam yishtachaveh emol hadadecha yeravloi yedidoy secha Mino fetzuf v'chol to'am hodu noe ziv ha'olam nafshi cholas avosecha ono elena refana la b'hadois la noam zivecha os tizchazek V'sis lahapei v'hayisala simchas olam v'sik yehemuna rachamecha v'chusana על בין אהוביך, כי זה כמה נחשפתי, לידס בספרס וזך, חמדה ליבי, וחוסנה ואל תסלם, יגלנה ופלייס חביבי עלי, את סוכת שלומך, תילדת מכבודך, נגילה ונשמחה בך, מה אהוב כי במועד, וחננו כי ימי עולם. To the mama, to the mama, the mama, yamama, the mama, the mama, the mama, yamama, to the mama, to the mama, to the mama, yamama, to the mama, to the mama, to the mama, ya. Page 258. L'Adonai, Naria, L'Tzoyishenu, Nekamo Famav, Besoida, Bismillah, Naria Loi, Kiagadol Adonai, Omenekadova Kondavik, my Shebiata Meke of it. Besoya Pesamim Doha Shedah Yambu Asau, Yabefiata Yasaru. Bog niet stak ben dich ra. Niflo kan dit naar ten naar zijn keer heen waar nog allemaal we zijn ja toch Jan bij me kan dit maar al tak schöne waar we gaan komen riva kia masaba mi ba als je niet zin af zeggen we gaan niet kan we over alia bij inshallah akot bada ba oma am tai leva heim na ja dit dan kai נשבעתי ויפי, הם יבואו נאמנו חסי, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמוי, תסרו מיום יום ישוע ספרו פגויים, כבוי די בכל העמים, נפלא היסר, כי גדול אדוני, ומעולם יורד, נוי ראו, על כל אלוהים היה, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, אדוני שומעים עשה, הויד והודה לפניו, ותפארת במקדשו, הלכו לאדוני משפחי סמים, הלכו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הלכו לאדוני כבוד שמו, שאו מנחה, ובואו לך צבאי סוף לילה, השתחוו לאדוני בחדש קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ, אמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, אף תיקון תבל, פעלתי מותתי עמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים בסגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואי, ילוי סועדי, וכל אשר בו יוי, אז ירננו כל הציור לפני אדוני קיבה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים באמונה זוי, לי, we're on page 260, second paragraph down. Adonai malach takel haaretz, yitzmechu iyim rabbi, manam ba'adafel sivivav sedek umishpat, v'chon kis'ay, eish lefanav teilech uslahit, saviv tzarav, heiru v'lakov tevel, v'asav v'tachel haaretz, Hanim Kadona Mamasum Lifnei Adonai, Lifnei Adon Kol Haaretz, Yigidu Hashemayim Sikoi, Baruch Allah Kol Ha'amim Kavaydo, Yevashu Kol Ovdei Fesel, Hamitz Halalim, Be'elim, Yishtachu Lo Kol Elihim, Shamam Tismach Sirion Vatel Gelder Benos Yehuda, Lamam Mishpatecha Adonai, Ki Ata Adonai Eliona Kol Haaretz, Miana Leisa, Akol Elohim Ohavei Adonai, Sinura, Shomer Nafshos Chasidav, Miyad Rishayim, Yatzilem, Oh, Zaru Ala Tzadik, Holy Yisraelim, Simcha, Simcha Tzadikim Badoinai, Bohedu Lezeiche Kodsha, page 262. Mizmor Shira Ladonai, Shira Chodosh, Ki Niflaos Asah Shir Lo Yamin Ozor Kachoy. Hoti Adonai Yishua Son Lenehagon Gidol Sakasoi, Sakachas Tov Emunos Leveis Yisrael Kol Nafsei Aretz, Eitz Yishua Selahin Havilat Nakolotz, Pitchu Velananu Vezamehu, Zamu Ladonai Bechino, Bechino V'Kol Shoifa. V'Chatzaitzvaitzvekol Shoifa, Hari Ulifnei Hamelech Adonai, Yidama Yomum Lo Yoitevel, V'Yoish Veiva, Nahalas Yimecha Uchav, Yachat, Holim Yevaneinu, Lifnei Adonai Kiva, Yishboyet Haaretz, Yishboyet Tevel, B'tzedek, V'amim, B'meisharim, Adonai Malach Yikutu Amim, Yoshev Gulifin, Tanu Ta'aretz, Adonai B'tzion Gadol, V'lam Hu Akol Ha'amim, Yodu Shimcha Gadol, V'nole Kodeshu, Yois Melech Mishpat Ahiv, Ata Kananta Meisharim, Mishpat V'stakov Yaakov, Ata Asisa, Roman Adonai Mishtach V'nole Kodeshu, Moshe V'yaharam B'cho Hanav, Ushmuel B'koivei Shemoy, Koivim El Adonai, Behu Yanin, Pamohodanam Yadaber Aleihem, Shomerei Dosav, B'choik Nosan Lamoy Adonai Eloheinu, Ata Anisam, Anosah Yisa Lahem, B'noi Keim, Alaliloisam, Roi Bebu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'yishachavu, Lahakodsha, Ki Kadosh, Adonai Eloheinu. Page 264. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu Ladonai B'nei Elim, Havu Ladonai, Kavod V'oz, Lai, Havu Ladonai, Kavod Shemoy Yishma, Havu Ladonai, B'Hadras Kodesh, Kol Adonai, Al Hamoyim, El HaKavod Hivim, Adonai, Amayim Rabim, Kol Adonai, HaKoyach Lai, Kol Adonai, Be'Hada, Kol Adonai, Shaveh Alazim, Vayishaveh Adonai, Ezazeh Halvanam, Vayakidem, Kamo Yegel, Levanon, V'Sirion, Kamo, Vein Ve'im Ayai, Kol Adonai, Chohetzef Lahavosef, Kol Adonai, Yachil Mihiba, Yachil Adonai, Mihiba HaKodesh, Kol Adonai, Yachal Elayolois, Vayechesof, Yolos, Uveichalo, Kolo Mekavoid Lai, Adonai, Lahamahabu Yashavah Yeshem, Adonai, Melech Liolam, Adonai Yos, Liamohoyiten, Adonai Yevarech, Esamo Bashalom. Page 264. Ana Bechoyach, second paragraph down. Ana Bechoyach, the two last minutes, Tatit Samura. Kabarina Samcha, Sakvenu Tarenu, no Kipo, Shayfutha, Kababa Chamrain, Parkin Tahain, Makamein, Sikasa Tami Gamrain, Kasik. Page 2666. Lahachadaidi, Lihikraskala, Pene Shabbos, Kabbalah. Together. Lahachadaidi, Lihikraskala, Pene Shabbos, Kabbalah. Shama v'zacha, b'diborecha, tishmiyanu, el hamyuchad Adonai echad, u'shma L'shem osifenes v'lesila l'chadaiti l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala l'ikras Shabbos l'chu v'nelecha ki himaka ha'baracha me'losh mikedem nasucha sof ma'aseh v'mashava techila l'chadaiti l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala Mikdash melech imalucha kol mitzai mitoicha hafecha raf loch sheves b'yemek habacha v'yachamal alayechem la l'chodoidi l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala hisna ari me'afaku milev shipikdei Sifatecha mi al yad ben Yishai beis halachni Kavay al nafshi geyala L'chadaidi l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala Hisoyveri kiva oirech Kol mi ori Shedaberi Kavod Adonai Alayich nikla Hey L'chadaidi l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala Loi say voy shivelo Oy loi sikami ma tishachachi umatehemi bach yechesu ani ami nifnesa i'atila l'chadaidi l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala l'chadaidi l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala v'hayulim shisai shai sayich v'rachaku kol mevaloyich yasis alayich Elohayich Kim Chasam Akalai L'chadaidi l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala L'chadaidi l'hikras kala P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala Yomim usmo Tiflohitzi, yes, Adonai, Tavihitzi, Aham Yadish, Behem Patzi, Behem Nismacha, Venagila, Hey, L'chadaidi, l'hikras kala, P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala, Bori v'shalom, Ateres bala, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תיכם עוני עם סגולה, בריחה לה, l'chadaidi l'hikras kala, P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala, l'chadaidi l'hikras kala, P'nei Shabbos ne'kabala. No, that's the wrong one. Okay, let's go on to page 12, and we're going to finish off with the 13 principles of faith. These 13 principles of faith are based on Rambam, the Maimonides, the Ani Ma'amins, I believe with perfect faith, and that's what Yigdal is. These are the 13 principles of faith based on that. Written by we don't know who actually wrote it, even though it does say it was Rabbi Daniel Bar Yehuda, Rome, 14th century. It does say over here in this little, but I think that's a bit of conjecture. We actually don't know who wrote it. That's the interesting thing. We have it. Some people don't sing Yingdal for that reason. It's quite interesting. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at this. Yigdal. Yeah, shall we do that tune? Yeah, we do that tune. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimtza v'yehenei sel metziusoi echad v'yen yachid ke'yichudo nelam v'gam ein sof liyachdusoi. Sing along. Ein loy domus haguf v'yehenoi guf loy na'adei chelav kedushosoi Kadmon lechol davar asher nivra Rishon v'yen reishis l'reishiso Hino Adon Olam lechol notza Yorek gedulaso malchusoi Sheva nevuasoi nesano El anshe segulasoi v'siftalatoi Lokom beYisrael Kamoy she'oid Navi Umahabit Testamunasa Torah Semes Nosan Liamoel Anyat Neviyon Neman Beisoy No Yachalifael Velo Yamil Dosoy Lio Elamim Lezuloso Sofer Viotea Sesorenu Mabit Lesof Dava Bekat Mosoy Gomer liish chesed, kamivaloi, noisein lo rashara, karishosoi, yishlach leketz yomim, meshichenu, iftos mechake ketz Yeshuasoi, meisim yachayel, pelohev chastoi, baruch hadeyat, shem tehilosoi, Meisim Yachayel, Badohiv Chastoi, Baruch Atehiyat, Shem Tehilosoi.
Shakar!
Shkoyach.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much, everyone.